Provincial News Update. Region 7 is placed under general community quarantine until June 15, 2020. Other moderate risk areas will also be placed under GCQ. Here are the general community quarantine regulations under the Omnibus Guidelines and some changes following IATF Resolution 38. Section 4 Guidelines for areas under general community quarantine. 1. Minimum public health standards shall be complied with at all times for the duration of the GCQ. 2. The movement of all persons in areas placed under GCQ shall be limited to accessing essential goods and services, and for work in the offices or industries permitted to operate hereunder. Provided, that movement for leisure purposes shall not be allowed. 3. Any person below 21 years old, 60 years old and above, with immunodeficiency, comorbidities, or other health risks, and pregnant women, including any person who resides with the aforementioned, shall be required to remain in their residences at all times, except when indispensable under the circumstances for obtaining essential goods and services or for work in permitted industries and offices. 4. Work in all government offices may be at full operational capacity, or under such alternative work arrangements as agencies may deem proper in accordance with the relevant rules and regulations issued by the Civil Service Commission or CSC. Provided that for offices requiring employees to report physically, commissioned shuttle services as well as point-to-point transport services may be provided. 5. Accredited diplomatic missions and international organizations may operate at 50% capacity. Alternative work arrangements such as flexible work arrangements, compressed work week, telework, and telecommuting is strongly encouraged. 6. All permitted establishments and activities under Section 2(4) shall be allowed to operate or be undertaken at full operational capacity. In addition, the following sailors or industries shall be allowed to operate at an operational capacity provided herein. 7. Limited operations in malls and shopping centers shall be allowed, except for leisure establishments and services which shall continue to be closed. Provided, that establishments and services allowed to operate in malls and shopping centers may only operate at a capacity consistent with Section 2(4) of these Omnibus Guidelines. Provided, further, those ages below 21 years old, 60 years old and above, those with immunodeficiency, comorbidity, or other health risks, and pregnant women, including any person who resides with the aforementioned, may not enter malls and shopping centers, except when indispensable under the circumstances for obtaining essential goods and services or for work in establishments located therein. Provided, finally, that such operations must be subject to updated guidelines issued by the DTI. 8. All public and private construction projects shall be allowed, but with strict compliance to the issued construction safety guidelines for the implementation of infrastructure projects during the COVID-19 pandemic by the DPWH. 9. Amusement, gaming, and fitness establishments, as well as those in the kids and the tourism industries, and all Category 4 industries may not operate. Industries in Category 4 are reflected on the separate DTI issuance mentioned above. 10. No hotels or similar establishments shall be allowed to operate, except those accommodating the following. A. For areas outside Luzon, guests who have existing booking accommodations for foreigners as of the 1st of May 2020. B. Guests who have existing long-term bookings. C. Distressed OFWs and stranded Filipinos or foreign nationals. D. Repatriated OFWs in compliance with approved quarantine protocols. E. Non-OFWs who may be required to undergo mandatory facility-based quarantine. F. Healthcare workers and other employees from exempted establishments under these revised Omnibus Guidelines and applicable memoranda from the Executive Secretary. Provided that in all of the foregoing, hotel operations shall be limited to the provision of basic accommodation services to guests through an in-house skeleton workforce. Ancillary establishments within the premises such as restaurants, cafes, bars, gyms, spas, and the like, shall not be allowed to over-8 or to provide room service. Provided further, that accommodation establishments may prepare sacked meals for distribution to attests who opt for the same, and food orders for takeout and delivery only. 11. Face-to-face or in-person classes shall be suspended. For academic year 2020-2021, the following shall be observed for the conduct of classes. A. For basic education, the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan of the Department of Education shall be adopted, as follows. Opening of classes for the basic education shall be on the 24th of August 2020 and shall end on the 30th of April 2021. Opening of private schools will be allowed within the period provided by law. Provided that school learning continuity plan shall be submitted, no face-to-face classes will be allowed earlier than the 24th of August 2020. From the 24th of August, face-to-face learning shall only be allowed when the local risk severity grading permits, and subject to compliance with minimum public health standards. Adoption of various learning delivery options such as but not limited to face-to-face, blended learnings, distance learnings, and homeschooling and other modes of delivery shall be implemented depending on the local COVID risk severity classification and compliance with minimum public health standards. Conduct of curricular and co-curricular activities involving gatherings such as science fairs, showcase of portfolios, trade fairs, school sports, campus journalism, festival of talents, job fairs, and other similar activities is cancelled, except those conducted online. B. For higher education, the recommendations of the Commission on Higher Education or CHED for higher education institutions shall be adopted, as follows. The rolling opening of classes will be based on education delivery mode, compliance with minimum health standards and the situation on the ground. 1. Highs using full online education can open anytime. 2. Highs using flexible learning can open anytime in August 2020. 3. Highs using significant face-to-face or in-person mode can open not earlier than the 1st of September 2020. 4. No face-to-face or in-person classes until the 31st of August 2020. Private that highs are encouraged to change their academic calendar and open in August 2020. 12. Mass gatherings such as but not limited to, movie screenings, concerts, sporting events, and other entertainment activities, community assemblies, and non-essential work gatherings shall be prohibited. Gatherings that are for the provision of critical government services and authorized humanitarian activities while adhering to the prescribed minimum health standards shall be allowed. Religious gatherings are not encouraged and shall be limited to not more than 10 persons until otherwise modified through subsequent issuance of the IATF. 13. Outdoor non-contact sports and other forms of exercise such as but not limited to walking, jogging, running, biking, golf, swimming, tennis, badminton, equestrian and skateboarding are allowed. Provided that the minimum public health standards such as the wearing of masks and the maintenance of social distancing protocols, and no sharing of equipment where applicable are observed. Provided, further, that operations of the relevant clubhouses or similar establishments, if any, shall be limited to basic operating. For this purpose, the pre-initiation in Section 4.3 does not apply. 14. The road, rail, maritime, and aviation sectors of public transportation shall operate at a reduced operational and vehicle capacity in accordance with guidelines issued by the DOTR. Provided that in all public transports, a strict 1 meter distance between passengers shall be observed and appropriate engineering controls in place. Keep yourself up to date and safe. Subscribe to our channel and click on the bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos.